Hello everyone. Welcome to Papercraft Possibilities. I am Susan, and I thought I'd just stop in and show my face this time and say hi. And it's a beautiful day outside. I'm gonna go out and play in my garden when I'm done with this video. I am in the state of Washington, and when we see sun, everyone is outside. So it's one of those kinds of days all the kids are out of school and running up and down the street. So it's a great day. I love to hear all the kids out playing. So today and for the next couple of videos, I'm going to be using a lot of the products that are on sale on the Last Chance page. You'll find it under products, and I believe go to Last Chance. I'll do the direct link down below when I'm done with the video. And they are just some great deals. Today I'm going to be working on this stamp set and die set. And I've got several ways I can use this. And you'll see that recently my husband and I were on a road trip, and we were in Napa. We were again doing a thing with trusted house sitters. I'm gonna have to do a whole video on that, I think. But we were 6 weeks on the road, and in Napa, I love to go to farmers markets. So we went to one and we picked up a bunch of fruits and vegetables, and it's just stunning there. There were vineyards on both sides of us while we were there shopping, and we brought all our goodies back to the house we were at, and you'll see a picture I took of everything we gathered that day. And then I wanted to remind you of the sweet sale, and what that is Stampin' Up! Has put together products in a group. So they put the paper, the stamps, the dies, the ribbon, and those type of whole grouping of collections are called suites. And right now for the next 6 days, there's a sale going on where if you buy one suite, you can get the second suite for 50% off, which in some cases can save you up to $75. I think it's $75. So great idea to take part in that if you would like. The other thing is you can buy individual products from those suites and then get the second one for 50% off. So like if you want to buy a bundle of stamps and dies, and then you want to buy another one from a suite of the stamps and dies, that second one will be 75% off. But I wanted to remind you, if you're choosing to do this, is to pay attention to the numbers. So for instance, if you buy one suite and say it's $100, and you buy some sequins or something like that and they're $4, they're going to give you the lesser expensive one at 50% off. So what I did is I made several different orders. First I looked at the shipping costs to make sure that it would be cost effective. Then I separated everything out and made several different orders based on how much money I was going to save. So just keep that in mind. And the other thing I wanted to remind you of is today, again, we're going to be using this as an example. And if you were to look over at the Last Chance sales, which again, this is on, the bundle, which is the stamp and die together, I'm looking down at my notes, is $36. So I'm looking at my notes. Sorry to be looking down, kind of rude. But if you buy the stamp alone, it's $13.30. And the die only is $10.50. So that comes to $23.80 as opposed to $36. So you might want to keep that in mind when you're buying things at the Last Chance, especially stamps and dies. Look at purchasing them separately, and you could save a great deal of money. So anyways, with keeping all that in mind, let's get started, and I'm going to roll the intro, and here we go. Here we go. Since I did my intro and now there is someone out mowing the lawn, because like I mentioned, the weather is absolutely beautiful. So bear with us if you hear a lawnmower. Just know it's absolutely beautiful. So here are a couple of the pictures from my time with my husband at the farmer's market. Here we are with a bunch of little carrots that I'd picked up. Aren't they fun? They're some baby carrots. Here's the collection that we made when we came back to the house and took pictures of it, and just a couple more pictures. So it's only 4 photos, but I thought it would be kind of fun to use a stamp set. These are the woven texture papers, and I think I'm going to use them. There were some in here. Let me see if I Kind of going through them here. I think, yeah. I thought this one would be really good. Hopefully you saw my last, I think it was the second to last video. I used this on some Hawaiian pictures, and I've got more Hawaii stuff coming up, and I'm going to use a lot of this paper on my Hawaiian pictures. Anything tropical, there's the other one. Anything tropical, I think these papers work really, really well. So there's that one. Let me put those aside. Then we have this paper that goes with the stamp set. And I'm trying to, I'm looking at my notes. The, this to market paper, pardon me for stumbling over my words there. That paper is on sale for $7.50. So a great bargain. And let me flip through the little that I have left. What's great about this paper, and you'll see when I start to use it, is your dies cut out these patterns, which is awesome. Then we have this and this. My grandson was out picking tomatoes with his grandpa, my husband, when he was a little bit younger, and I'm going to use that paper on that. So there's that and that. And here are some nice, the wooden barrels and some shopping bags. I love this purple. It looks so rich looking. And anything platter gingham, you guys know I'm all over that. And then I think I'm going to use these pictures here when I go to the farmers markets here in Pacific Northwest. The flowers are phenomenal. So I'm going to use that, I think. And there's a nice green plaid. So I know I'm going to use some of these because I had already had them cut out. But here are my pictures. Let me kind of position them over here. And we'll kind of audition a couple of the papers. I really like this plaid. I think I'm going to use that one. This one, I think I'm going to cut out some barrels and use those. So I'll put that aside. This one actually looks pretty good. We'll keep that in there. It really picks up on the carrots. And I believe these are apricots here. This one's good too. I put some pumpkin pie paper over here on the side. Let me see how that looks. I think I like that. So let me kind of lay this out and we'll see where we can go from there. All right, let's start auditioning some of these papers in here. I put down some mini glue dots there. I like just a slight bit of texture this paper has for the background. I think I mentioned it, but this is from the Woven Textures collection of paper. And thinking about that up there, that there, and that there. I'm a little concerned about this getting lost over here, so we'll see what we can do about that. I've cut up some pieces, so let me see what I can put down. I've ripped some of the green paper from the market collection. I'm thinking about putting that there. And I have bits and pieces of my pumpkin color that I've used in the past. And this is one of the papers from the market collection. And I'm thinking about something like this, but I'm not sure about, I might have to cut some of this down. I'm not real sure. So we'll just place it down here and see what we think. I do like that though. I mean, the colors and everything there. Then I'm thinking, again, I'm gonna have to cut this down, but possibly I'll just stick it under there for right now. Something like that. What do you think? Again, I wish you guys could just kind of tell me if you're sitting here in the craft room. Okay. Maybe we can add some more of this in here, some of my scraps. Again, we'll cut this all down here in a few minutes. And then I thought to fill up some of the space over here is first we could do something like that. I may have to cut these down to make them look more appropriate, but maybe we could stack them. What do you think? Something like that. I may want to make a bigger cut of the paper pumpkin just to get more of that color in there. Kind of have a border on it a lot like these colors. So I think I will cut something bigger on that. Then one of the other things I did is I wanted to share with you, I'm going back and trying to be a good girl and using up my stash. This is from the, close to my heart, one of the collections they had for a workshop. And I've just gone ahead and I've cut off some of the items here, which is the reason for all the holes. And I thought about using this down here and this one down here. Again, they're still on the sticky paper, so they're not even. And then I was just messing around with possibly doing, I would cut this, 12 inches long to do a border like that. So we'll see how that goes. So I think that might be the basics for the layout. And then I've got some other things up my sleeve. So let me get this kind of pinned down and I'll be back with you and then we can put everything else together. But I want to make sure that this is glued down. I've gone ahead and glued down the pieces that we talked about previously, but this one, I put some tape down here and I shouldn't have probably. I want to leave that loose until I decide kind of how I'm going to fill up this area. I've gone through and I've cut out some of the vegetables from the paper that you can cut out with the dies. I fussy cut, which means I just hand cut these out, these barrels by myself. This windmill and barn and a few other things are from a set from Close to My Heart, so I'm using up my stash on those. These little market bags are a die from the die set, and I love these. These would be good for the beach pictures and everything else. I've cut out, I think it's 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them, to stack for some depth, so I'm going to glue those up. And then again, from where the barn came from, I've punched out some letters. And this is like a thick paper or a thin, like what the thickers that they have, but they're much more shallow. But they're also kind of a little fragile, so you need to be careful with them. So, and then for my sticker set again, I've gone ahead and pulled out some of the stickers from that. This one's Love Grows Here. I think I had another one in here. So I'm gonna play around with those and I'm gonna put you on fast forward while I try and, put those out. And it'll be fun to hear what you all have to say. You have to tell me in the thoughts down below, like, no, you should have put it there. You should have put it there. So let me play around with these for a few minutes and I'll put you on fast forward, put some music on, and we'll get this done. pieces I had cut out to potentially use, I've put down, but I'm not happy with it. It's missing something here, and it's missing something here. Not quite happy with this. I was thinking about using this to put the date on. So I'm going to go back, and I think I'm going to try and look for some sunflowers to possibly dress up these areas. So let me go back to the drawing board and pull some more toys, quote unquote, out of my stash, and we'll see what we can get. Let's see if I can get a better view of what I have going on here. I've gone ahead and I've cut out some sunflowers from a die set I had in my stash, and I kind of wanted to dirty it up, so I brought in some crushed curry, and on the center section I wanted to use some early espresso, and I think I'm going to pop that up. Then kind of like on these wood type flexible pieces, I'm not sure what they would be called, kind of like a balsa wood, I guess. I'm going to dirty that up with some early espresso, and then my little leaves I'm going to dirty up with some, I think it's old olive. I don't know why it's not labeled here. Old olive. So let me go ahead and dirty that up, and I'll be back. But anyways, I just want to make sure you knew that these types of pieces you can definitely add some ink to. So let me get this done. I'll be right back. almost done. Someday I'm going to get brave and show you what my desk looks like after I've been creating, because it's pretty darn bad. I think I want to do that in there, but I think I want to pop that up. This is sticky, I'm gonna put a couple of the foam dots on here. These are ones I've had in my stash forever. I am really on a mission to use up a lot of my older product and also show you all the product that is really marked down this month. Is kind of my goal of the next 4 or 5 videos. So I think I'm going to put that on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hole puncher and make this hole a little bit bigger. I'm going to run some twine through there, and then what I'm going to do is I had some leftover leaves here, and I think I had 3. Where'd my other one go? Maybe I only need 2. And my twine, I'm going to bring that out and use it again. And of course the green. I'm going to pull out quite a bit. And I'm going to do my little trick I always do. I'm going to put it together like 4 in a length. So I'm going to wind it up 4 times. And then I'm going to grab the one end of it that has all the loops in it. And let's see, those, I think the leaves are probably going to fall off. You know what I should have done? I should have done this before I taped it down. Let me see if I can cheat. Didn't even think about that. And it looks like I got it. And I'm gonna tie a big old knot in here. Sorry, my hands are in the way here. One of the strings did not get pulled very tight. There we go. And I'm gonna come and cut the ends. I like that this just adds texture to your pages. I like that. So let me get those in there. And then I think I'll be about done. And what I'll do is I bring this up closer to the camera. And you can see the highlights closer when I show you that I came in with my inks and really inked up a lot of these die cuts. And I should probably also show you, this is, again, this has been in my stash for a very long time. This is Spellbinders, and this is where I got the sunflower from. And it's called Many Thanks. I think it probably came out at Thanksgiving time, maybe a couple years ago. It might still be available, I'm not sure. All right, so there's that. And I think I'll pop that up. Let's bring in those Mongo ones I had that I'm trying to use up. There's another word. There's another Susan word, right? Mongo. Let me know below what you guys are working on. And by the way, if there's really a collection that you'd like to see me work with, in other words, from Stampin' Up, that you're feeling kind of struggled with, let me know and I'd be happy to try and help you out and make a video with that. And this little sticker says fresh from the garden, so I thought it was appropriate. My desk just looks like a bomb went off. Okay. I got my glue dots on the back of here. I need to be careful. All right, so you can tell I did some shading in here on the buckets, and then I did shading on all of the leaves and the sunflowers. It's that for some things that made their way underneath here. And then here, you saw me, I believe, on video, I'm not sure, that I came through and layered, I think there were 4 of these baskets together just to give it some thickness. And then I glued them to the handle and then put glue on the carrots behind just so you wouldn't see anything on this basket or shopping basket, I guess, or bag. And I did the same inking up here. I did the inking and the highlights, and I used early espresso on these. Did the same thing with my barn. And I think probably over in here, I like to take it and put it on the right. I'll probably put a title down here. Not sure how I'll put it down there, but it will be there, and it'll just say Napa Farmers Market 2025, May 2025. So there you go. I would love to know your thoughts below, and until next time, we'll see you, and thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.